Guys, and welcome to Crypto Chats. It's Wednesday, and you know what? Let's get into it. So we can see today that UK bank HSBC are actually going to soon pilot a live blockchain payments. This is pretty interesting because it shows that while, as we've shown in the last few days, so like Bank of America and Morgan Stanley are not a fan of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, other banks are actually getting involved in blockchain, which some are saying is actually the big winner here over cryptocurrencies. So anyway, the article says that in a leaked media call earlier this week, um, Joshua Croker, who's its senior innovation manager, said that the bank would basically be rolling out blockchain payments, and so this is good because it allows, I suppose, people to see where their money is going and flowing from, and it allows more transparency in like the banking system, in the traditional banking system that I and you use every single day. And it's really just interesting to see how blockchain and cryptocurrencies have become so big in the last few years. I mean, if we talked about this in 2011, 2012, everyone would have just been like, it's a scam, they're all scams, and there'd be no point in using it. But fast track 2018, and we can see that institutions really are taking up this new technology. So it says here, currently the plan is to launch a live network in early 2019, according to the news site that ran it. Interesting to note here that many of HSBC's clients basically want to digitalize their operation, and there's obviously been interest from a lot of people in blockchain, and I think this is where it's coming from. HSBC probably weren't they probably didn't want to introduce blockchain and any element of cryptography because that's like on the Bitcoin and Monero and Litecoin side. But it just seems that the massive influence that blockchain's had on its customers is one of the main reasons that it's doing it. And I know a lot of the time in the crypto world we like to think we go against the traditional banking system. It's still good to see the blockchain being used by like the traditional banks that me and you use because fundamentally it adds more transparency. It shows you and I where our money is going. There's less room for fraud, and fundamentally it's a good thing. So I think the news from HSBC today, if it actually happens in 2 years' time, regardless, it's still a good news for through crypto, and yeah, let's hope it goes well. Anyway, there's been another article today that has appeared on Forbes. Forbes is like an odd site because on any given day, an article can be like Bitcoin to fall 5,000 points or Bitcoin to rise 5,000 points. So a lot of the time they'll run like a really crushing article on Bitcoin and then also run an article at the same time, which is really complementary and it makes no sense. And they do this all the time. Anyway, article today on who controls Bitcoin. And in the article, basically, they say that a lot of the power in the Bitcoin network is with hodlers, basically. And this is really easy to see when you look at like a big crash. Basically, where it said here, yeah, here we go. So in 2017, Bitcoin hodlers' collective control over the network was put to the test as large companies in the space, combined with more than 90% of the network, tried to move everyone to a new network they would call Bitcoin. I think they're talking about Bitcoin Cash here, but fundamentally, the point of the article is showing that hodlers are the main powerhouse behind the Bitcoin currency, and people who believe in it, people who believe it will go up, people who believe it will go to the moon, are the main reason why the currency is so strong. Because it can be insulted by Jamie Dimon, it can be insulted by the World Bank. It doesn't matter. Basically, the hodlers keep it at the price that it is and keep it valuable, and that's really great to see because I think when I first started out in the cryptocurrency like market, I bought Bitcoin to make money, and I did make money, but then it was like, oh, this technology really has the actual potential to change things, and I still hodl to this day, and it just shows how important we are as part of this collective unit, as fundamentally we're why Bitcoin remains the top coin by market cap. Let's have a look what it is today. I think it's what 180 billion dollars, and that's literally because of the hodlers who have backed it from 2009, when it first started. Although I didn't go that far back, I'm just a 2017 hodler, so people better than me on that. Anyway, the article touches a bit more on SegWit and how could SegWit help the currency. Could it lead to miners leaving because there's less money to be made on a fee, which is quite an interesting viewpoint, actually. Obviously, early this year, Bitcoin, it had a transfer rate at the point of like $55, and that was really good for miners because they could basically take their pick who would pick the highest mining fee, and they could just go with that and make the most money. But if we activate SegWit, or segregated witness as it's been called, and fees are 0.4 cents, 0.5 cents, 0.6 cents, is any miner actually going to want to mine Bitcoin anymore because the fees are so low? Or maybe they'll move to somewhere else like Bitcoin Cash or Monero, or something like that, or maybe even a new currency, where they can make their own coin and just pick whatever the hell like size trade they want on it by just not making the network a very large capacity. So that's pretty interesting. So an actual valid point from a Forbes article. Um, what else did I want to talk about today? Yeah. So as we all know, a lot of people have criticized Bitcoin over the years. Like I said earlier, so we had Jamie Dimon, and then we've had like the World Bank. He's had Warren Buffett. We've had them all. Anyway, the latest person to insult the cryptocurrency business is Bill Gates. Bill Gates basically did an AMA on Reddit recently, where he was asked about loads of stuff, so about his foundation, how much money he's going to give away when he dies, where the money's going to go, and all this money he's been doing around diseases in Africa and the developed world. Anyway, one person asked him about what's going to happen with Bitcoin and like Litecoin and cryptocurrencies. Where is it going to go? And he basically blasted them. He absolutely was not a fan. He said that the government have a right to find money, and Bitcoin is basically just used by criminals to hide money away from the government, which is like such a boring argument, and we've heard it so much. And I think people in the crypto space are just so bored of hearing, oh well, Bitcoin is only for criminals and it's only for people to transfer money. So that they can avoid the government. Number one, it's rubbish. I mean, think about Bitcoin and what its uses are. Like, number one, if you didn't make, say if you were a poor immigrant and you moved to another country and it costs it costs loads of money to send money back to your family in like your home country because of Western Union. With Bitcoin, and if segregated witness came in, you could theoretically send money back home with a small fee, and they could use it without having to pay any transfer fee or receiving fee. That is what Bitcoin and Litecoin and Monero are for. They're not to hide money away from governments. They're to actually help people who need a fair access to money and don't just want it controlled by the 1%, which of course Bill Gates is part of. So it makes sense that he's not exactly the biggest fan of something which goes against, the current financial system, the people who have all the money and resources, and fundamentally would actually make a fairer representation of who owns money and who can transact in money. Anyway, rant over there. So yeah, he basically says new currencies are used for buying drugs, and ICOs are speculative, and cryptocurrencies are super risky for those who go long term. Which I think, like we've seen, like people who do go long on Bitcoin or like do hodl, it's definitely like not a long risk. Because if you look at people who bought Bitcoin, everyone was like, "Oh, you'll lose all the money." If you look at people who bought Litecoin, if you look at people who bought, what's done really well in the last year, I don't know, like Ripple or like Monero, everyone would have said like, "Oh, you're stupid. Like, it's just going to crash to nothing, and you're going to make no money." But people who have hodled have made ridiculous amounts of gains. There's one guy on Reddit who's actually set up a foundation because he has so many bitcoins, and he's donating all that money to charity. And guess what? It doesn't have to go through any financial systems who have to take their cut first. He can just send the money through Bitcoin, which shows that Bitcoin can be used for so much more than just laundering money. And I think there was even an article recently which said like only like 7% of all transactions are used for laundering money, which is ridiculous when you look at the sheer capacity as a whole. Anyway, let's have a look further at the article. So yeah, drug dealing, terrorism. What else? And the article even points this out. Like, yes, although like some cryptocurrencies are used for money laundering purposes, there are really good parts about the industry too. Like we've already said, like the chance to send money abroad to a to your family. The chance to like back new technology, the chance to back blockchain, something that's going to absolutely transform our world, whether it be from like how you pay to how like music artists get their royalties from songs, so that like they'll be able to see who's paying them, how much they're paying them, and track it all back to like, is this actually fair? And of course it is, because blockchain cannot be hacked, which is why we should back it. Anyway, interesting article from, who is it from? It's from Gizmodo. Basically, pretty easy to understand. Really rich billionaire does not like new technology that potentially goes against his financial base, or the financial base that he built his £60 billion worth of net worth on, to make him one of the top people in the world and have all the power. So not really surprising if you look at it. Anyway, guys, bit later in the video today, but let's jump on over to CoinMarketCap. What's doing well? Bitcoin's down hardly. It's pretty the same as yesterday. Basically, not really big swings today. The market, as we go into March, it's just about leveling out. So not huge rises, not huge falls. And I think so far in 2018, at least, the market hasn't. Well, I think it's gone worse than most people's expectations of how it was going to go. But you know, it can't moon every day, every month. We can't have like 5,000% gains on like on Decred or like Walton Chain, whatever these coins are. But even like if we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, we can't have like 50% rises every day. It's not believable, and it's like also worrying at the same time. So stick in there, and I'm sure like we'll see it move like by a sizable amount eventually. And who knows? Tomorrow is March, and new month, new crypto chats. We'll see what's happening in the market, and we'll go from there. Anyway, let's go over our daily. What's doing well? What's going down? So what's doing well today? So Nebilo, no idea, guys. Back to Digix DAO, yet again doing well. I mean, 33% yesterday, 20% the day before, 15. I think it's gone up almost 80% in a week, which is amazing. I've even looked this up online today, because I was like, we talked about it every single day, and I was like, I can't just keep on calling it like a shitcoin, or I don't know anything about it. So basically, Digix DAO issues coins to the relative value of gold, so it's linked to gold, which is pretty interesting. I know there are quite a few companies launching projects linked to linking crypto coins to the gold price. I don't know why it's pumped recently though. There's been a little bit about it in the media. I saw there was a Bitcoin News article about it. There was a CoinDesk article about it, and there was also a blockchain publication that covered it, but I don't know why it's mooned so much. If you have any ideas, comment below and let me know why you think it's doing so well. And should I get in, guys? What do you think? Is it one for me? And if so, why? Let me know, like I said, in the comments below. Anyway, what's doing well today? Nem is doing well. Funfair. Funfair I know nothing about besides this like one video that Crypto Bobby put up, where basically the chart was like up, down, up, down. Maybe that's why they call it Funfair. Who knows? But generally, like a lot of alts up today, but none that most people really know. I think that's pretty fair to say. Tether, on the other hand, is pretty stable. It literally hasn't moved at all today. Don't really know why that is. But I think in the last week it's been pretty stable. I think yesterday we saw 0.05% drop, so hardly anything at all, to be honest. But anyway, let's not look at who's doing well now. Let's look who's had a bad day in the crypto market. So Dentacoin, yes. If you don't know why I'm so happy, look at my previous videos and you'll know why I hate Dentacoin and why it's such a stupid idea. Anyway, Redcoin is down again today. That was down yesterday quite by a sizable amount. And then we've got Electroneum, Veritas Ethereum, which has been up and down a lot lately. And then most of the others I don't really know. Gas, Zcoin, other than that. Oh, and Verge. Verge is 6% down. So I'm pretty sure it's like almost like 70% down, I think, since I started talking about it. So that's going well. Anyway, let's go back to market cap, and we'll just have a look at the top 10. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Neo, Cardano, Stellar, EOS, and IOTA. Guys, let me know what you think is going to happen in March. Obviously, new month tomorrow. What could happen? Will the cryptocurrency moon? Will it fall to the ground? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, then please subscribe over here. And guys, I will talk to you tomorrow about everything that is going on in the crypto world.